So welcome everybody. My name is Rana El-Kalyoubi. I actually spun out my company Affectiva out of the affective computing lab right here back in 2009. Sold the company a couple of years ago, and I've been spending a lot of time in investing in AI startups, and I just feel very lucky to be in this place, in this moment of time, experiencing all of the incredible innovation we're seeing. So our panel today is going to be about how do you cope with the rapid speed at which AI is accelerating? How many people here feel that every day, every week, there's new advances and it's hard to keep up? It is hard to keep up. So I'll give an opportunity to each of my panelists to introduce themselves, and then we'll dive right in.
Sure, thank you, Rana. Manish Goyal, I'm an operating partner at Berkshire Partners. Berkshire is a private equity fund based in Boston. We invest in mid-sized companies across sectors, consumer, healthcare, industrials, business services, and tech, so a broad swath of the economy. I lead our work on AI and data science. And what that means is, in that role, I get a chance to work with all 30 plus of our companies. And I'm working with them directly on some of the challenges that you mentioned that they're facing in terms of how to actually introduce this into their operations and how to train and equip their workforces. Excited to be here.
Amazing. Just quick follow-up. Do you have like a blueprint that you take into these companies to help them become AI-driven?
So the way Berkshire works, it's more doing it in partnerships. We don't have a blueprint, but what we do have is we run an AI working group, which brings in a lot of experts. And then where we found the most value is actually solving the last mile problem, which is actually tailoring each of these use cases for the companies. So we go in, we work with them on the highest business problems, and that's where we found the biggest use, and we can talk more about that.
Very cool, great. Lynn?
Hi everyone, I'm Lynn. I'm CEO and co-founder of Fireworks AI. Before Fireworks, I've been at Meta for 7 years, mainly building out Meta's AI platform, supporting all billions of users across all product lines. And we started Fireworks because it took us more than 5 years to bring Meta to be AI first. And we really feel like the whole entire industry is shifting to be AI first at the same time. And we want to reduce the time to leverage AI from 5 years to 5 months to even 5 weeks. So that's our mission. And right now we are laser focused on generative AI, and we provide the fastest and lowest TCO platform to enable all application builders and products building on top of GenAI.
So I love your origin story. You were part of the core team that built Meta's PyTorch, which a lot of people here have probably used, if you're in the AI space. So what was the kind of the motivation for leaving Meta and starting your own thing?
Right. So I was head of PyTorch. When I started, PyTorch was 5 people team and grew that into 300 people. And also took us 5 years to fully productionize PyTorch, supporting all Meta's surface areas of AI. That's quite a journey. At the same time, I was, through PyTorch open source engagement, I was talking with many companies as partnership, and realized, no matter how big or small those companies are, there's a huge desire on one hand to be AI first and do the transition really fast, and be in this way, leverage it or even ahead of wave. But on the other hand, it's significant lack of expertise, lack of infrastructure, lack of resource, lack of know-hows that slow them down. And that big contrast makes me feel we actually can make a huge impact. And we can significantly reduce the time to market, bring the business impact and business value by alleviate operation aspect and kind of help those companies transition faster. Now it comes to GenAI. And this velocity of change is significantly improved. It's going crazy right now. As you just said, as of now, today, Meta just released their newest model, Llama 3. And earlier this week, we just enabled the new mixture model. So the velocity of change is constant. And we are here to help all the applications built on top of GenAI to do not worry about that and just leverage the platform we have and focus on your product building.
Amazing. Will?
Hi guys, my name is Will Kofel. I am A longtime startup founder, actually MIT alum. My first startup was I was on the founding engineering team at Akamai Technologies when we spun out of MIT in 1998. So some of you here are old enough to remember the dot-com boom the first time around. So it's great to be in another exciting revolution here. After a long stint of doing kind of every role in the startup ecosystem, I'm currently leading NVIDIA's Inception program, which is our scaled startup support program. So we have almost 20,000 startups that are in our program today, including both of the startups on the stage today, mostly coincidentally, actually. So a ton of great startups. So it's really amazing to have this kind of front row seat to see the innovation happening around AI from this place of kind of being able to support them. It's really awesome. As a startup founder, you spend a lot of time focused on one particular company at a time. So I think we were always jealous of the VCs who we felt had this portfolio approach to innovation, and now I get to see the scope of kind of 20,000 startups innovating on AI. So super excited to be here and always love this event.
I have to say, Affectiva, my company, was part of the NVIDIA Inception program, but I believe that was before you had joined NVIDIA. And it was just an amazing way to get access to an incredible ecosystem. As a startup, you don't necessarily have that access. So it was really powerful. So for any startups here, definitely consider the NVIDIA Inception program.
Yes, look that up. And then also if you're a VC here, because I know there's a lot of investors, we also have a great relationship through our VC Alliance with VCs, both to sort of help them get access to startups, to work with their portfolio companies also. So feel free to reach out to me if you've got either role.
I think my big question for you is, how do we get some NVIDIA AI chips?
Yeah,
right?
I have a bunch of H100s in my trunk, so see me afterwards.
That's awesome.
I thought that this is for me.
That's for, I promised. I would give him my chips. Sorry.
That's great. There.
So sorry about the
You're good.
late or early. So my name is Yair. I have a PhD in computer science. This is the second startup that I'm participating. This one I'm the founder and the CEO. A startup called Bria. We are doing responsible and open generative AI. Last time that I was in Boston was 14 years back when I did internship at Harvard, and my girls was 1 year old. Now they are 15. So it's really nice to come back to Boston.
Great. Who are the customers of Bria?
Who is the customer of Bria? We took a different approach. We don't have application, so it's not a B2C, and it's not even for designer. We develop the platform to enable other companies to use this technology. And we give this technology as an open source, the model themselves and the weights. So what we did, we developed an attribution engine, which every time that we generate an image, we know how to trace back in the training set which data influence this specific generation. And we know how to reward this data owner. Same like Spotify, if you think about it. This is how the music streaming started with Pirate Bay and then moved to Spotify, which know how to reward the data owner. So we did this attribution engine. With this attribution engine, we have agreement with almost 20 different image stock providers, which gave us all of the catalog. So every data that we are using is fully legal, fully licensed for generative AI. We train it from zero. And now we have a model which is perfect for enterprise to use it to build their own innovation solution. So it can be WPP and Publicis. It can be media companies like Fox. It can be creative tools like, if you think about companies like Canva and Figma, they all need this model, but there is no economic for them to create it from scratch, even though the chips are in the truck. It's quite expensive. Make sense?
Yeah, I love the emphasis on the data. We've had a lot of conversations today about the importance of data in this AI equation. And I love that you are making sure that it's like the AI is explainable, the model is explainable, and that it's a very responsible approach to building these models.
So this is why we call it responsible and open generative AI platform. It's not only the data ownership, it's also public figures, privacy, trademarks, fairness, bias. If you start in using the data that built for commercial use, and you train a model with data that built for commercial use, then you get also a platform that you can use with less risks.
So I want to ask you each about the opportunities, the biggest opportunities you see as we kind of embrace being an AI-driven organization. And I love that this panel is so diverse. We've got large enterprises, we've got startups, we've got kind of big tech.
Yep.
So what are the opportunities you see?
Yeah, so the biggest opportunities we've seen in companies is those are doing it really well are people who are thinking about both productivity use cases as well as revenue generation, right? So the productivity use cases have been talked about all day, right? Conversational AI, call centers, chatbots, knowledge surfacing, etc. Where I think it gets really interesting is when you're looking at your core business processes and thinking about how do you improve them for a customer benefit. So just to give you one example, which I particularly like is, say you are in the distribution industry. And typically, when a customer calls you and says something is broken, the rate at which you can predict what part they want is roughly 50%. Now, if you can move that number that the tech goes out with from 50% to 70%, it's a game changer. It includes customer satisfaction. It has a significant impact on cost. You can stock a lot more. And what's good about this is two other things. One is there is actually low risk of hallucination because all I'm caring about is improving my batting average. There's very low risk of hallucination. And the second thing is there is something really different about the data. A lot of the data which was sitting in customer service manuals, in old PDFs, in call logs, was not being used. So what we are trying to encourage all of our companies to do is to think about the one or two use cases in their business model where this really makes a difference, and then working hard creatively to solve that issue.
And then I would imagine you could probably use a platform like Fire.
Exactly, which is
right?
Great segue.
Yeah, how would you help Manish's company?
Yeah,
so I had a takeaway to follow both with both of you to understand how we can use it.
Definitely. So I have actually a question to the audience. How many of you think Gen AI technology is eventually going to touch your life? You will personally use it in one way or the other. Okay, we don't have a very enthusiastic audience here. But throughout this event, I've been in a lot of lightning talks or startup ideas, a lot of discussion about building all kinds of assistants. I personally, our company has been supporting legal assistant products, medical assistant products, coding assistant, all kinds of coding assistant products for productivity. Today, you don't need to write PowerPoint. You can generate PowerPoint just by saying what you want, or you don't need to type for web application building. You can say what kind of web application you want to build. It will generate for you. So a lot of those is coming up, and I do think this generative AI is going to create a tidal wave of disruptive applications and products, right? But all these products are going to be used by all of you eventually, whether you're consumer, or developers, is going to benefit from that. So when you use those products, we don't want to wait, right? We want to see results immediately and keep thinking and processing and keep using the product. So latency is extremely important because it has to kind of come back to you quickly. And more so, this is a year that we no longer talk about human as the receiving side of Gen AI. We talk a lot about agents, right? So there will be a lot of agents play different roles. They will self-organize, self-coordinate with each other. So for one task, it will have multiple agents talking with each other to finish that task. And then latency becomes even more important. We're not talking about 1 second, half a second latency. We're talking about millisecond latency. So then quickly, those agents can, through Gen AI technology, can finish a task to improve productivity. So all comes to, hey, those models. At the same time, we know the models are very big, right? We know that OpenAI's mission is AGI. AGI means building AI systems that's smarter than human. Those models has trillions of parameters, very big. But it's kind of at the same time, we know all these applications, we talk about whether you are on the receiving end of consuming them or its agents, it pushes to very low latency. So these two actually don't go hand in hand. And what we believe in is we're going to invest in much smaller models, make it on par quality with large models for solving specific problems. At the same time, the smaller models, we hyper-optimize for those smaller models because all these models are PyTorch models. We wrote PyTorch code. We know exactly how to optimize them. to bring in the lowest latency to those products and applications. At the same time, we will also bring the lowest TCO because, hey, those models run on top of GPUs. We know GPUs are very expensive resource. And kind of we make it affordable to new application builders and product builders. So that's kind of very exciting to me, that kind of direction.
And what Fireworks is doing is you're lowering the barrier to entry for any company, including startups that want to leverage generative AI in their product portfolio. So Will, out of all the, how many companies do you have in the Inception
I think
program?
we're just over 19,000. Yeah.
Okay, so in that kind of universe of startups that you're supporting, where would you say the bulk of the opportunities are in the AI stack? Is it like, where is it? Is it
Yeah, so I guess I'll take a bit of a cop out, but I think it's the natural extension of this velocity. So if we really are in a place where we all agree there's huge amounts of change, I mean, you never know. Maybe wherever we are on the hockey stick, you could debate, but we're somewhere on that curve right now. And I think that leads to the unique opportunity here, which is actually across the ecosystem. What we see is that there's opportunity at every single place in that stack. And what I would say is the more focus that people can have right now on advancing the ball on one particular thing, whether it's regulatory, whether it's platform specific, I mean, but both of these companies have taken like platform approaches here. There's massive opportunity in the pickaxes and shovels for this revolution, but there's also massive opportunity for domain experts to understand the implications of AI in their domain. So we see incredible legal experts, incredible healthcare experts, and biotech. I mean, BioIT World just wrapped here in Boston, and we had a bunch of people from NVIDIA there. There's massive interest in AI, not just for drug discovery, but for so much else in that world. So I think to understand if you're playing in a domain-specific applied AI area, or in sort of a platform area, or in the much needed areas around AI bias and AI regulation and AI safety and AI open source and all these things. Like, I think the reality is that we're seeing opportunity across all sets. And I guess the last thing I'd say on that is, because that's the reality today, I would encourage companies to be partnering as much as possible. Like, own the part that you're going to move the ball forward on, and then partner the heck out of everything else, because just that opportunity, like a rising tide is going to lift all boats. So the more partnership we can do, I think the better.
Gary, you are in the kind of the AI space, safety and responsible AI space. What do you think about all of the upcoming AI regulation? Is that good news? Like, how does it affect your business?
I don't think that I'm in the responsible AI space. I think that AI should come with responsible.
I agree
and
with
also
that.
With security and also with privacy.
Yeah.
No one says, well, I'm developing an application and my application has privacy because it's clear.
Right.
So the way we suggest to think about it is that the same when you develop something, when you have go-to-market, when you have design review, and you think about elements like privacy and security and scale, you need also to think about responsible AI, which basically means to take accountability of what you do. If you don't take the accountability, I hope that the government will come and create regulation that help you to aim where is how the accountability should look like. I will give two perspectives here. First, 10 years ago, when we started with the privacy regulation, everyone thought that this is crazy. I thought that it will not succeed. And after 2 years, oh wow, it's actually a good thing, right? Yeah. We are all in favor of that today. There was some market education, but we are all agreed that it's important. Same will happen with the AI regulation. The other side of it is that we need to be careful that big companies will not use that to prevent other companies not to be part of the game. Because there are great opportunities for platform and for startup, but also for existing companies. And you see today companies like Publicis and WPP, which are the advertising agencies, Red Bull, which is Red, and they are all hiring AI expert, computer vision, machine learning groups to start develop that. And they need the source code. So we need to balance the regulation that it will help society and will not create monopoly or do monopoly to other companies.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so what is one piece of advice that you would give our audience on how to stay up to speed with AI innovations?
I would say just get started, right? All of us are learning. All of us are behind the curve. just get started, have the confidence, and try different things, and you'll be fine.
I always say my son is 15 and he's my AI mentor. He's always trying these new tools and breaking them. I'm sure at some point he'll get into trouble, but I love the mindset.
I'm sure he's teaching you quite a bit.
Yeah. It's amazing, and he gets all his information from TikTok. So anyway, how about you? What's your advice for people to stay up to speed?
I would say there's a little bit of fatigue of how many updates there are every day. Part of the fatigue is, hey, there's a new model coming up. What do I do? Do I try it, or do I wait and see, how people react and so on? It has been a constant confusion, and people feel like tired of catching up with. I think just this week there are 2 new models, like 2 big models got dropped. So that's where we come in as Fireworks AI. We actually provide. Offer more than 100 models, and we actually monitor them constantly and put the most state of art as our featured model. And you can easily access them through our serverless integration and super easy API, which is also OpenAI compatible. So I'm pretty sure a lot of developers are very familiar with OpenAI's API, and then you can seamlessly migrate to use ours and use smaller models to achieve your goals better and faster. So we hope we actually alleviate that side of the concern and make your job much easier, and you just focus on your next level of application and product development and be innovative.
Will, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a personal piece of advice, I would remind us all, myself included, to spend more time hands-on with this stuff.
Yeah.
It's really easy for us to sit around and read the blog posts and read the newsletters and all that, but I would challenge people in this room, if you're not in there playing, building, acting like a consumer, acting like a developer, then you're probably not digesting it at the level that you're really going to understand where those opportunities are. So I think one piece of advice is, get as hands-on as possible. And then if you're building businesses out there, the other piece of advice is just clean up your data. You won't be upset if you have clean data.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take the geek answer and to reference to a book and suggest don't panic.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. I love that.
It's not new. After AlexNet and deep learning, we said exactly the same thing, and I got exactly the same email from AWS that there is not enough GPU at the region in 2013, and we all thought that it's not going to replace everyone, but the cars still have drivers and AI help people. Don't panic and take McGavitt. How to say?
Okay, I love that. I love that as our ending. So get hands-on, but don't panic. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.